good God, am I excited, right? So, Firefly, let's see. Firefly came out. Hey, right? I had to do one. I had to do one. So Firefly came out September 20th of 2002. 2002. Now, I slept on the series back then. I was fresh out of high school, married, had a kid at that point. My first son was born, and I slept on it. I was not there. I didn't get into it until around 2010, right? And holy crap, 14 episodes. That's it. That's all we got of that. 14 episodes. And I saw it got canceled on the ninth episode, right? So they were filming the last episode, which was Objects in Space, right? And while they were filming Objects in Space, Joss Whedon went up to the crew and they said, "Hey, we've been canceled." If I remember correctly, they were at the time they were in the prime time spot against like one of the CSIs or NCISs, and those just had too big of a following to compete with that for a space western, and they failed. They failed, unfortunately, because space western was so ahead of its time, so ahead of its time. And I think the issue is that, as things tend to be, the first one that tries to break through a genre does tend to fail. But good God, did they fail miraculously, because the cult following that they ended up with by the time they were done was phenomenal. And I wish I had caught it back in 20, or no, not, I almost said 2022, 2002. But not that, my one view would have made a difference, but I do feel like if as many people who are in love with that show now knew it existed back in 2002, I think they would have actually had a long running series. And hey, Teth. So the thing I found so crazy was Nathan Fillion, who played Captain Malcolm Reynolds. He in every show that he has had since, in numerous projects that he's done since, he has had small roles or something for the people from Firefly. I mean, I think every single one of them. And of the actors from that show, I know um, Alan Tudyk, who played Wash, Adam Baldwin, who played Jane Cobb. I know that the two of them in other series have made references to Firefly in their other series. Adam Baldwin was in a show called Chuck, which was also a phenomenal show. A lot of cameos and references in most of his shows since then. Right. Um, in the show Chuck, I don't remember who it was. I don't remember if it was Chuck himself or if it was Morgan, Chuck's best friend. But they went out and they saw, oh God, what was his name in that show? Whatever. They saw Adam Baldwin's character polishing his car. That it's a good show. It dies down toward the end. It gets a little too like, ugh, all right, whatever. But the first like 3 seasons, top notch. And at one point, one of them is watching him shine his car, well, wash his car, and he gets complimented in the car, and Adam Baldwin goes shiny, and I lost it. I was like, that is fantastic. and and Alan Tudyk, for anyone, because I'm going to post this on Instagram lately, or later, not Instagram. I'm going to post this on YouTube later. Um, for anyone who watches this and doesn't know much about Alan Tudyk, he is in everything. That man has got animated voiceovers down pat. Everything. I mean, the man's a genius when it comes to it's so humble. He is insanely humble about it. And I love that for him because I think it just shows you another level of authenticity that he has and how appreciative he is of the success that he's had. You know what I mean? He doesn't believe he's as good as he is. Yes, I have been listening to their podcast. That's yeah. I need to listen to all of them because I've only seen or heard clips here and there or seen little snippets. I wish they did the podcast, um, released the podcast um, with the cameras, but they only show us snippets with the cameras, and everything else is just the words, um, the actual dialogue, which is great. It makes sense. I understand, but being hard of hearing, I miss a lot. I have to have closed captioned on. I haven't checked to see if the closed caption is good or if it's an AI one because if it's AI, I'm gonna miss a lot of stuff. But if I could see their mouths moving, I know what they're saying. Or if someone's actually transcripting it and throwing it up, so there's not like a lag and a delay, I'm all for it. But yeah, you're right. Alan Tudyk truly, he's like, I'm okay, I guess, but that man is fantastic. And Nathan Fillion, what a phenomenal actor. I mean, he had Castle, which ran for like what 8 seasons, I think. Um, he had Alan Tudyk on that. He had um, Marina Baccarin on that. If I remember correctly, he had Sean Mayer on that. I don't know if he had Jewel State. I do remember Gina Torres on one, and I'm pretty sure Summer Glau was on there. Yes, Adam Baldwin was on Castle. Yes, that's right. He was the crazy cop. That was he was in like 4 or 5 episodes. That was that was a fun one. His his character on Castle was phenomenal. And there's been a couple small roles in um um come on, what's the one right now? The Rookie. The Rookie. I literally popped into that show literally for the first episode with him in it, another show I need to binge. So good. Now there is rumor that Nathan Fillion and his co-star Stanya I forget her last name. There's rumors that they didn't really get along all that well. So Nathan wanted to continue the series, but Stanya was like, "I'm done," and so they wrapped it up because they're like, it's just not Castle without um, what's her character's name? Nikki Heat. No, Nikki Heat was the character he wrote the books off of. Oh, good lord, what was her name? Wow, I am drawing complete blank. And I just rewatched the whole series last year. It's crazy because she is the there's him and her. They are the lead actors. And I could remember um, Detective Es- Esposito and Ryan. That is wild to me that I can't remember the leading woman's name in Castle. That's insane. Kate Beckett, thank you. That was going to drive me insane. Not gonna lie, that was a struggle. Google it. Thank you. I should have. I wasted way too much time on that. But anyway, um, they did not. Rumor has they didn't get along very well, and that's why she has never appeared in anything since. Um, they clashed. But you watching that show, watching that show, you would never have known those two actors, Nathan and Stanya, were phenomenal. I mean, I know we hear that about actors like the two the two people who played in that 50 Shades movies. Like their on-screen chemistry was fantastic, but they hated each other. I've never seen the movie, so I'm not sure how that translated on film, but I've heard it was good. I mean, it must be. They made like what, two or three of them, but watching 8 seasons of Castle and the chemistry that um, Kate Beckett and Richard Castle had together, you would never have known. I think they made as many movies as the books. I don't know how many books there are. So three. That I knew it had to be at least two because I remember that people talking about like 50 Shades Darker or something like that. But it's always a little disappointing though, isn't it? Like you want the actors to to not necessarily have that chemistry off film, but you do want you kind of want them to at least, I don't know, have something translate outside of the camera. You know what I mean? So that was a little disappointing. But anyway, a few weeks ago, Nathan Fillion and you want to hope they get along in real life. Exactly. A couple weeks ago, Nathan Fillion hinted on their his and Alan Tudyk's joint Instagram account once we were spacemen that something was happening, right? And they did it so subtly, and I love the way that they did it. So, and you're gonna be, we're gonna watch them all. There are two, four, six, eight, 10. There's 10 videos with the hints leading up to today's announcement. So we're gonna watch all of them and talk about all of them. But first, because you have to, it's here, right? What? Oh, I got it.
Do you lack confidence? You need personal magnitude.
I apologize for that. I mean,
personal magnitude.
this is them. They are off the wall and
Do you
goofy.
lack confidence? You need personal magnitude.
I had to show that. You know I did. So this was the first one. Hello, fish. Oh, sugar.
Does this mean it's time?
It's time.
Okay.
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 So that was the first one, right? So that's Gina Torres. Her character was Zoe in Firefly,
Oh, wow. Does this mean it's time?
and oh my god, I was. I mean, she looks up. Is it time? And she looks up. Mal's second in command. Yes, yes. She looks up at the sky, and I just yeah. I forgot to disable those. I'm not on my normal setup. Nothing works. Sorry. Um, yeah, I just threw one down, but but it is magic. It is magic, and uh, all he says, and I'm sure this is hard to read. All he says here is, "Wait, time for what? What's it time for?" And that's it. But she looks up, right? I saw this and just I, I began rewatching Firefly for the umpteenth time that day. That day. How do you not? You Thanks, Fish. So, I mean, at this point, it's all sorts of speculation, but I what else could it be? It has to be something Firefly related, right? Who the hell knows? So then we get this was on that 2 weeks ago, February 23rd. They posted this one. The next one is with Morena Baccarin. 2 days later.
Oh, we're both in our.
You son of a bitch.
Oh,
Are we doing this?
oh, we're doing this. Get out of here.
I love that. And you see, wait, what are we doing? What are we doing? You son of a bitch! And holy cow, we're doing this. And he's tagging people. He's tagging Sean Mayer, Jewel State, Alan Tudyk, Morena Baccarin, Gina Torres. So the first video, I didn't even think to check. I didn't think to check on Gina, who he tagged. But at this point is when I saw that he was tagging people, and he did tag. He didn't tag Sean Mayer in the first one, if I remember correctly, but he did tag everyone else. And so, of course, things start exploding. Right? I'm just getting watching these ammo and they were released. Same. So these start coming out. Things start exploding. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, what's going on?" That's Gina Torres, and now that's Morena Baccarin. I'm sure I'm butchering her last name. My apologies. But we've got Captain Malcolm Reynolds. We've got Zoe. I have no idea what her last name is. And then we got Inara. we're doing this. And at one point, and I think it's the next video, people start speculating that there's going to be something different. They're like, they're just ramping things up to let us down. It's going to be something silly. It's going to be a convention. It's going to be a Comic Con. Obviously, that's a convention, but whatever. Um, it's going to be a podcast. It's going to be crossover events because they're both in their current series um, costumes. I have no idea what series Morena is in right now, so it's something I want to check out. But obviously, this is um, his character from The Rookie, which is still airing. And so, yeah, people start speculating, is it going to be a crossover? Is it going to be a convention? Is it going to be a podcast? No one knows, right? And then another 2 days later, we get
We don't want any.
Well, wait, Sean, it's me.
Sean Mayer, Dr. Simon Tam.
Ah, I thought I might see you.
And here I am.
So, it's happening.
Oh, it's happening.
Well then.
Well then.
Whoa,
Oh, holy. Got that?
wind.
That's crazy.
And the first comment, some of you have guessed convention podcaster crossover. You are wrong. And again, everyone except Adam Baldwin. So far, he has not popped up anywhere in this, not being tagged, not in the videos. So there's some speculation. Like, why are we tagging Adam Tudyk? Because they finished Firefly with the movie Serenity, in which his character, Wash, the pilot, dies. So, how can it be a revival, right? He's gone. What's he going to do? Hologram? No way. That's why people were guessing it's got to be convention, podcast, crossover, something. Maybe get everyone together and just have this like read along or just a mass discussion with the old crew of the Firefly about how everything that happened in the show, what went, what's gone, what stayed, the friendships, the whole nine. Who's just literally chilling with his family in Michigan, which right? And and they came straight out and said, no, that's not it. You are incorrect. So then, a few days later, we get Summer Glau,
Well, well, well.
River
Well, well.
Tam.
Has the day finally come?
The day has finally come.
I knew it would.
Yeah, still a little creepy when you do that.
It's a little creepy. And people start commenting again. I swear to God, if this is a full cast reunion on the podcast, I'm going to have to go with Wrath. And he starts chiming in. You're not paying attention. And other people are doing the same thing. If this is going to be all of them on an episode of The Rookie. And he chimes in again. You're not paying attention. Not a crossover. Not a podcast. Not a convention. It is going to be something bigger. What could be bigger? Nothing. Nothing could be bigger than some sort of Firefly Revival. There's no way. There's no way it can be anything but. And then 2 days later, Jewel State,
Jewel?
the
Where are we?
mechanic,
Yes,
Kaylee.
we are.
Shiny.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Now, a lot of people at this point were still second guessing everything, right? But she says shiny. That shiny secured my dreams of Revival. Same. That word. I was like, there's no way. I mean, they already said, no podcast, no convention, no Comic Con. Shining. It's got to be a Firefly Revival. But at this point, people are like, at the end of every single one of these, they're bobbing their heads. Yup. Gina Torres, Morena Baccarin, Sean Mayer, Summer Glau at the very end, and now Jewel State. And they're all. So people are like, this whole thing, and it's going to be fucking bobbleheads. They're like, they're pulling the wool. They're pulling the wool. But at this point, also, he states, I was hoping you would say that. An announcement is coming on Sunday, March 15th, which is, of course, today. I just assumed they were one-upping each other with the nods. I didn't even think bobbleheads. Honestly, same. But once I heard that, I'm like, oh, that would be the ultimate bait and switch. That would drive me, and I believe I said this to Star White, another one of one of the guys I talked to on our Discord, and I said if it does end up being bobbleheads, I am going to boycott everything they are all in, and I will shout from every social media platform that they suck and screw them. I don't ever want to see them again because God, that would have pissed me off. So now we're up to March 4th, right? And the next one, 2 days later, we see the hat. Adam Baldwin,
Saw this coming.
Jane
That's
Cobb.
what Summer said.
It's about what I think it's about, huh?
It's about what you're thinking about.
Well, okay then.
Well, okay then. That. From my own.
Guys, Adam Baldwin finally entered. And the one before, he still, let me get that pulled back up. He still was not tagged. So I was getting a little nervous because, like I said, Adam Baldwin was in, most of Nathan Fillion's shows in some sort of thing. You know what I mean? Also, my favorite part of this episode is that it is insinuating that Adam just sits in his Jane costume at all times. Right? Right? You see a fellow on the street with that hat, and you know he's not scared of nothing. But eh, they and he says, "Okay, well, countdown is on 9 days," and he says, "Let's be bad guys." Kind of cunning, don't you think? Freaking. So I did end up by this point. We're talking from February, what was it, 23rd to March 6th. Actually, I think by March 4th, I had already rewatched all of Firefly on Hulu. Serenity is not there anymore, so I'll watch. I might watch that one again. I don't know. Um, and it's just, and every time I watch it, it's one of those shows where like you can pick up on a couple things here and there that you didn't notice before, which is kind of nice. Um, and knowing the story as well as you do, you start seeing the foreshadowing. The movie is somewhere. I watched it fairly recently. I did too. I watched it last year on Hulu, but now I got to find out what because their license went up. I hate the streaming services now, but they totally forgot what I was going. Anyway, so now 3 days ago, the Western intro.
Hey!
Hey, buddy. So, I'm not gonna do this without you.
Oh,
So, are you in?
okay.
Okay.
I slap. I'm just excited when I get that's I slap. I'm gonna go now.
Yeah, I'm busy too.
And they state right there, it's not bobbleheads. Announcing this Sunday. And Gina Torres. It's true. He does get a little slappy happy. Hey hubby, hey. And I love this line. I probably wouldn't have remembered um if I hadn't rewatched the series. Um Literally a few days finishing the series a few days prior to this one showing up. At one point, he as Wash and Gina Torres as Zoe are in bed talking, and they're talking and laughing, and he slaps her on the ass. That's got to be what she means by that. And again, I'm not doing this without you. There's no way. There's no way. Once I know I love him too. There is no way it is anything other than a Firefly revival. It's not bobbleheads. I'm not doing this without you. That part was improvised. They talk about it on the podcast, The Spank. Really? Oh, I got to see that one. So, at this point, we all know. We all know it's going to be some form of a revival. And Gina goes, and notice I don't even flinch. Well, that's why I thought it was you know sceneed out that way, which is just awesome. So, but now we're starting to think, okay, well, at least I'm starting to think it's got to be animated, right? Or are they going to do a 20 years later gap? But if they're going to do a 20 years later gap, Wash is gone. And the only other person that we're missing is who played um, Shepherd Book. Ron Glass, that's right. Ron Glass. Ron Glass passed away in 2014. He played Shepherd Book, who we never really got to find out his true origin story. So I'm curious how they're going to do this because Shepherd Book was a preacher by all means, right? Carried a Bible. Same, same. He carried a Bible. He preached, but there was something a little bit off because he was a sharpshooter by his own admission. Um, and at one point, he becomes injured, and um, they find an Alliance cruise ship, whatever the frick they're called, and his knowledge of the military and it works exactly. They find an Alliance cruiser, and they go to get help from them to try to save Shepherd Book from dying, and they're like, "Yeah, we're not helping you guys. You guys are garbages. We want nothing to do with you." And he says, "Get my ident card." So they reach in his pocket, they pull out an Alliance ident card, put it in the reader, and then they immediately go, "Oh my God, get him to the infirmary now." And that was it. And that was, I want to say, like about halfway through the 14 episodes we have. So we're looking somewhere in between like 5 and 8, I want to say, episode 5 and episode 8, where there's just this foreshadowing of him. What is he? He talks about he has sharpshooting skills. he, he can kick some ass. He gets into a firefight at one time to save Captain Mal Reynolds. And he has an ident card that immediately made the Alliance lieutenant, whatever it was, say, "Oh my God, we have to save this man. Who is he?" And then in the movie Serenity, they still didn't expand on that. They didn't really give us any more information on what he was to the Alliance. In Serenity, he was just a shepherd on a rock taking care of a village, like almost in an elder capacity. It's been a few years since I've seen that one, so I'm not 100%. And Shepard literally says he won't ever share how he knows things, right? But he also does say at one point, um, maybe one day I'll tell you, or he says, "I would love to tell you, and maybe one day I will." That's what he says. "I'd love to tell you, and maybe one day I will." So what the hell? He's gone. Are they going to talk about him in this revival? Because now we have two main characters of the crew who are dead. How do we do with 20 years past continuation of Firefly? They can't reboot it. Everyone's a little bit too old at this point to restart the series. They've aged too much to pick up where the show itself left off. They've aged too much to pick up where the movie left off because the movie came out, I want to say, like 2 to 3 years after the show ended. So what's left? Animated. So at this point, I'm thinking it's got to be animated. What else can it be? And then, uh, don't be like that. There we go.
This is the cast of Firefly coming at you.
As you may know, we have a big announcement coming tomorrow on the 15th. Put your guesses as to what the announcement may be in the comments. Jewel, what's your guess? Too late. We have a big announcement tomorrow on the 15th. God bless you. Alan, go.
Hi. This is the cast of Firefly coming at you.
And, they call out, hey, this is the cast of Firefly. And they're doing so well. They're not giving any hints. But you can see the genuine delight in their faces. And I think this is what I'm loving the most. I also think timeline wise, the movie takes place less than a year after the show. I think it takes just over a year because Inara has been gone off Firefly for a while. He hadn't seen her for a long time. So you may be right. It may be less than a year, but it may be just a little more than a year because I feel like there was quite a big gap. But we'll have to watch the movie and see. Oh, I didn't mean to move it like that. Get back there. Um, I love the absolute joy in their faces. Like this isn't their screen acting smiles. I thought Mel makes comments. 8 months she's been on the ship and we didn't know this thing or something. Oh, I'll have to rewatch as well. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I mean, look at Gina getting closer to Alan. They're all just uh uh and they're doing so well they're not telling us a goddamn thing. And you've got so many people popping up saying, "Oh, Firefly's revived. We're getting a new one. We're doing this. We're doing this." And I kept holding out saying anything because that's all fine and dandy to wish that, right? But this is something that we have been dying to get for so long. And as much as I want it to be true, I didn't want to sit there and be like, oh, yeah, it's definitely happening. Definitely happening. We're getting this. This is us. So today, Jordally Poo Poo, before I got a chance to check Instagram, thankfully sent me today's announcement. And that is what we are going to look at now. Oh, I was on it. Yes, you were. And I was eating breakfast. On Saturday and Sundays, I sleep in and I don't eat breakfast until like noon. I get up at 9, I don't eat until noon. I don't know why. So this was today.
Word is,
We're gonna
word
come on
is out.
one more time.
As of this moment, the word is out. We are going to try to bring back Firefly. This time, we're going to animate it. Guys, bringing back Firefly, crazy or not crazy?
Not crazy.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
Not crazy.
Crazy.
It's crazy, but it just might work.
Now, to do this, we would need Joss's blessing. I got it.
The rights from 20th Century Fox.
/ Disney.
They got excited. They said yes.
The showrunner.
I got two: Tara Butters, Agent Carter, Dollhouse, Mark Guggenheim, Arrow, Flash. They're married. They met through Firefly.
A script.
We got it.
An animation house.
Academy and Emmy award-winning Shadow Machine. The last piece we need is a home.
A home.
A home.
A home?
A home?
A home.
A home.
A home!
And for that, we need you. Like this post. Comment on this post. Repost this post. Tag your friends. Tag your family. Tag your enemies. I'm asking you to do what you've always done. Keep Firefly lying. Oh, and I'm about to go pitch this thing, so wish me luck.
Good luck, Captain Tight Pants. Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck with that, Nate.
Good luck.
Good luck.
As of this moment, the word is out.
I'm
We are going to try to bring back
I'm
Firefly.
gonna leave this running for a minute.
This time, we're going to animate it. Guys, bringing back Firefly. Crazy or not crazy?
Not crazy.
It's crazy, but it's perfect.
Not crazy.
Crazy.
We need this.
Work.
Now, to do this, we would need Joss's blessing. I got it.
How awesome is that? I know people don't like Joss Whedon.
Disney.
They got
I
excited.
understand.
They said yes.
The showrunner.
Love the Master of Disguise
Tara
quote.
Butters,
Oh, what one's that? I've never seen that movie actually.
Guggenheim, Arrow, Flash. They're married. They met through Firefly.
And how cool is that? They met through Firefly.
An animation house.
Academy and Emmy award-winning Shadow Machine. The last piece we need.
So crazy, it just met. Oh, okay.
A home.
A home.
A home?
A home.
A home.
A home!
And for that,
Freaking Alan.
we need you. Like this post. Comment on this post. Repost this post. Tag your friends. Tag your family. Tag your enemies.
Tag your enemies.
Do what you've always done.
Ah.
Firefly.
Also, it sounds like they're doing it without Josh, but with his blessing because ultimately it's his baby. Yes, that's something I was gonna say as well.
Tight Pants.
He got Josh's blessing.
Good luck.
Josh, if I remember correctly,
As of
I feel like he kind of got um blackballed. Apparently, he's a pretty shitty dude. I don't know any details of that. I tend to stay off the negative press on things because I watch things for the entertainment value, not for anything else. But wow, animated, an animated Firefly revival. Whether or not this is going to be a reboot or if it's going to, well, actually, now hold on. Why can't I? I wish Instagram on the computer would allow you to swipe through. Um, I don't think it's a reboot because the script is called Firefly Still Flying. So, if Alan Tudyk, Wash, is going to be in this and it's Firefly Still Flying, it has to be post series pre Serenity. And if we're looking at, regardless of if I or Jordy are correct on when Serenity takes place, we're looking at either a year of adventures before Serenity, or we're just going to ignore Serenity completely. That's my big question. How are we going to do this? Personally, I hope that they ignore Serenity completely. I would love to see a much longer, excuse me, I would love to see a much longer series, than a year's worth of adventures. Now, let's see here. We got, here's the animated, right? I'm going to freaking blow this thing up as big as I can. Apparently, that's as big as I can. Hold on. And then there. Da-da-da. So, this is where I start getting a little bit worried as well. We have Zoe, we have Inara, we have Captain Mal, we have Jane Cobb, we have Summer. Character lineup. Wash isn't here, and they said they're bringing Wash. Sean Mayer isn't here. Dr. Simon Tab. Simon Tam. I don't know why the heck I said Tab. Simon Tam. So what's going on? What is going on? A lot of people were under the impression prior to this that it was going to be, well, a lot of people that I saw um, posting about this while all the speculation was still happening. They're like, oh, Malcolm Reynolds and River Tam are still adventuring, still getting into things, and they're going to be the front runners of the new show, and everyone else is just sort of going to come back. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that in my head canon, at least, that is the direction Malcolm Reynolds would have gone, nor River. Now, I know River and Mal were a lot closer in the last episode, Objects in Space, and the movie Serenity. But Malcolm, as much as he cares for River, does not trust her with good reason, with very good reason. And ultimately, there are adventures that took place during the Firefly series that we didn't see. Agreed. I'm curious about the caper where they smuggled dolls with heads that wobbled, which is another reason why people were starting to think, maybe it's bobbleheads as a throwback to the caper of the wobbly headed dolls. Definite trust issue for sure. Yeah, because I mean, the slightest thing would send River into, well, murderous ways. I mean, she's sliced open Jane Cobb's chest out of the blue. She took a gun and killed 3 people without looking just by peeking around the corner and going, okay, that's where they are, and then went, and they were all dead. Like she's terrifying. She is a government created non superhuman. They insinuate at the end of the movie she will be more sound mind, but who's to really say what will bring back some other hidden memories she will want to expose? Yes. Also, one of the things I can't wait to see is if they expand on the 2x2 Hands of Blue. We saw them in 2, maybe 3 episodes of the series. The first time we see them, they're just, oh, that's not good. Second time we see them, it's actually, I think we only saw them twice. But anyway, the last time we see them, they've got that device, and it's like, I don't even have anything near me, but it's almost like the Men in Black memory reader. They hold it out, and 2 little blue bars go, and it hums, which I didn't know it hummed. Thank God for subtitles. It makes a noise, and it makes the people around bleed out of every orifice in their body. Their eyes start bleeding, their fingernails start bleeding, their nose, their mouths, their ears. They just erupt. Yeah, but it melts brains instead, exactly. And they never talk about it again. And that was the last we saw of them. But River, on multiple occasions, is like 2 by 2 hands of blue, 2 by 2 hands of blue. She is terrified of those men. And in Serenity, they finally go to the school that River was at. No, she has memories of the school where she was at. When they go to another world that started all this stuff. That's right. And it caused a lot of flashbacks. But again, yeah, she sees the planet. I don't know if she was actually there. Right. She just starts having flashbacks of her class due to the stuff that was on that planet. I think it was almost like a mimicry of that. Their attempt number 2 or so. You know, that planet was alpha test, River's school was beta test. And they're never mentioned again. They weren't mentioned in the movie. In the movie, we still didn't hear anything about Shepherd Book, and Shepherd Book dies in the movie. They killed him off. And they never told us why he was so connected in the Alliance. Why does he know how to fire a gun so well? Why does he know how to kick ass? Doesn't sound like a shepherd to me. Doesn't sound like a shepherd to me. But with luck, we're going to get our answers. We're going to get our answers. It's happening. He has a script. He has showrunners. He has a sign off from Joss Whedon to continue the series. Hulu, or not, what do you say, Hulu? Fox. Fox, Disney, Fox, whatever, are interested in this. My guess is he fought in the war on the side of the Alliance and had deep regrets, or even a further back. Boy, we don't. Exactly. I also thought he was probably part of the, I guess it wasn't a civil war, the unification war. That's what it was, the unification war. I think he fought for the side of the Alliance for the unification war as well. Um, but he had to have been high up there for that kind of response from the Alliance cruiser. Yeah, it was Fox that owned it, and then Disney bought Fox. Disney buys everything. Screw Disney. But so here we are. We have something that people have wanted for ages. And Jordy and I, we were talking earlier, and she was like, and they have so much to go on because we have comics, which I need to get a hold of. How have I slept on the show and I've slept on the comics, and this is stupid. I need to get the comics. Whatever. Doesn't matter. If you haven't seen Firefly, you are missing out. It is an epic sci-fi space western with heaps of laughter, heaps of quotable lines, and just this all around amazing storytelling. Dark Horse Comics published them. Yes, I have a couple of them from right when they launched and then fell right off because collecting comics is weird. No, the fuck it's not. Shut up. I haven't collected comics since I was a teenager, but I need to start again. We're adults. We can do what we want with our money, god damn it. So, you know, no, I don't mean weird like bad. Oh. You just mean like it's, yeah, I mean, it's not like you can put them on a bookshelf like regular novels and stuff either. Where like you need to go get them right away and ADHD. That's fair. That's fair. So yeah, we've got a lot of stuff. We've got a lot of stuff. And I would honestly suggest even people who are not big into sci-fi, check it out. It's not overly futuristic. I mean, it is, but it's not. I think that might be what appealed to a lot of people creating the cult classic that we have today. Because it is very much a sci-fi show. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like this grandiose Star Wars, Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica kind of like, you know, vein of high science fiction fantasy. It is very much a more down to earth kind of. I'm trying to think of the right. No, it's futuristic, but in a way that makes sense as the next step from where we are in humanity right now. Yes. Yes. It's not teleporting. It's not warp speed. It's not, you know, my food comes out of a hole in the wall if I say, you know, computer, get me coffee.
I can't order food for delivery on this device. It's on Echo Show 8 in larger devices that support Alexa Plus.
So my Alexa just called me out because I have my Alexa answering to that word. I named my PC Enterprise, and I made my Alexa answer to that. So whenever I turn on my PC, Alexa says connected to Enterprise. I got to be careful of the second half of the word PC and not political correctness. I'm a nerd. I mean, I've got Darth Vader's lightsaber tattooed on me. I'm a freaking nerd. It's just one of those you got to watch the first episode before you make your decision. 100%. Because I do feel like it has a good, like Jordy said, a good futuristic um, feel to it without feeling over the top science fiction. Because it was stinky. I love that. That is fantastic. So, it's I really do think it has a lot for people who are not big into sci-fi, and I truly believe that it is the kind of show that could pull people in who aren't into sci-fi because the sci-fi is just the backdrop, which I find super awesome. You know, instead of the show trying to um be like, "Oh, hey, look at how amazing everything is. Look at how cool this gadget is. Look at how awesome this technology is." The sci-fi is a backdrop. They use it because it's there, but it's not the premise of the show. Like Star Trek. and even Star Wars. And I know I'm going to piss people off with this one. Technology is the forefront. You know, you've got a spaceship with teleporters, a overhead computational system that talks to you if you say its name. You know what I mean? Star Wars, you got the lightsabers, you've got epic laser gun space battles. You know, uh, yes, the stories are not rooted in the sci-fi, but the sci-fi is so intertwined with, well, I'm saying this wrong. Star Wars is technology, space magic. Yeah, yes. As a lover of Star Wars, I completely agree with that. But like you said, it's more like a next step to human civilization as we are now. Like if we became spacefaring people outside of, you know, the Star Trek style of way or a Star Wars style of way, like that is our next step. They're still using guns with bullets. They're still using, you know, gas. They're like, I mean, not gas specifically, but they're still using like a finite type of fuel to propel their things going. Uh, you know, it's just, it really is worth a look. And I wish I could say that a little bit more cohesively, a little more coherently, but it's very hard to explain without without the context that I need. If I were watching an episode, I feel like I could explain it a little bit better because, like, yeah, if we start terraforming and populated planets, it literally would be what we see in the show. The farther away from the central section, the more people are forgotten and struggle. Thank you. That's literally the entire premise of it, right? I mean, the the crew of the Firefly stays away from the central planets because they don't like the alliance, they don't like the government. They're working outside of the government, and you get all these backwater planets that have little to no technology a lot of times, and they're just doing things. And Serenity flies around, and they help out when they can, or fuck shit up when they need to. You know, it would be, and I think what I'm trying to go with this is that it would be just as good a show if it were a strictly Western show with the same plots but done on Earth. You know what I mean? Take a Wild West show. Okay, well, we're talking 1800 Austin, Texas, huge city in the Wild West. The further you go away from Austin, the less people have, the less law really matters, you know, and all the things that happen there. It, you avoid the law. You don't have to worry about the law as much, and you know sometimes you can even straight up say, "Fuck the law" to the lawmen. But you know you get a little closer, or you get those little patrols going around, and things get a little hairy. And that's what Firefly is, but in space. Oh, I know what I'm doing tomorrow on my day off. Yes. It's literally the same premise of One Piece, but no one has powers. And it's in space and not in ocean. I have never seen One Piece. I've caught a couple episodes here and there. Not my thing. Good guys labeled bad by the government because they actually care about helping people and doing the right thing. And Firefly is a bunch of people who don't want huge government oversight on everything they do. They don't want to bow their heads and say, "Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. Thank you, sir. May I have more water, sir?" They just want to live. They just want to live. Well, I think I've talked enough about this. So I'm going to post this over on YouTube, and hopefully the cult following of Firefly does their thing, pushes this out to astronomical proportions, and convinces Fox and Disney to do this. Because, God, I want this. I love this, and this just chatting setup you have right now. Thanks. I've I've created this for YouTube because I'm gonna start doing some playthroughs on YouTube, and I think I'm gonna save Twitch for the silly games and the horror games. I don't know where my camera is. So yeah, cross your fingers, cross your toes. Uh, Blessings, grace, whatever it is you do to send out all the good vibes to Nathan Fillion, Alan Tudyk, Morena Baccarin, Adam Baldwin, Jules State, Gina Torres, and Sean Mayer. Let's make this happen. Brown coats unite. You know, the theme song says, "You can't take the stars from me." Let's make it happen. I will DM you an easy recording setup for those types of videos. Oh, thank you. I hope so. I'm so sick of Disney making live action things. I need a break. For real. Let's be big damn heroes. Yes. Yes. Let's do this. All right, guys. Peace out. Bye.